Good afternoon, YouTube. Today is Friday, September 5th, 2014, and things are heating up at the State Department. The past couple days, it is the battle of the sexes, apparently, according to Marie Harf, State Department's deputy spokesperson, accusing Bill O'Reilly of making sexist remarks. We'll take a listen to what she had to say, and then I'll show you the clip that she's talking about.
Very tangentially related to this, and I mean very tangentially related. Your brief foray this morning, and by brief I mean 140 characters, into media criticism directed at my colleague's
Not at your
colleague here, has attracted a lot of attention, and I'm wondering if you could just briefly, without getting into any kind of without wanting to get into any kind of a name-calling match here, explain what it was that you were upset about.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to give more than 140 characters here. I think that when the anchor of a leading cable news show uses, quite frankly, sexist, personally offensive language that I actually don't think they would ever use about a man against the person that shares this podium with me, I think I have an obligation, and I think it's important to step up and say that's not okay. And quite frankly, I wish that more people would step up when men say those things about women in public positions and say that it's not okay.
It was Marie Harf who took to Twitter on September 4th to defend Jen Psaki at the State Department on her answers that she gave when James Rosen from Fox News had asked her about President Obama's policy against ISIS. Let's take a quick look at the interaction between James Rosen and Bill O'Reilly.
And when I asked Jen Psaki today, in today's briefing, about the apparent contradiction between wanting to destroy something and then wanting simply to reduce it to a manageable problem, she accused me of trying to, quote, twist words and play word games, Bill.
Okay, but with all due respect, and you don't have to comment on this, that woman looks way out of her depth over there. Just the way she delivers, it just doesn't look like she has the gravitas for that job. And that brings us to John Kerry, the Secretary of State. He doesn't say very much about this. They muted him big time, did they not?
Now, I can respect Marie Harf for wanting to defend her boss, Jen Psaki. However, I don't think that this is really a sexist type issue. Jen Psaki clearly was in over her head. She wasn't able to answer the questions. In fact, if you recall, I actually did the same clip myself and put it up on this channel. So I'll play that for you at the end, but it went to Twitter and it took off like wildfire. And in fact, some of the comments are actually calling out to question whether somebody from the CIA, although Marie Harf claims that she's no longer an employee of the CIA and is a full-time employee of the State Department, whether that undermines the credibility of the spokesperson.
So you don't think that the criticism would have been directed at a man who had replied, who had given similar answers from the
some of that language, we've seen it before, I don't think would be used against a man. Some of the language used about my colleague, I don't think would be.
By this one person in particular, or just in general?
In general.
Okay. All right.
And this is the clip that I put up on September 2nd. This is the clip, the conversation Jen Psaki and John Rosen from Fox News had. Clearly, you're going to hear that Ms. Psaki is just way off her game. She was pretty much off her game the entire press briefing, so let's take a listen.
Go ahead.
Does the Obama administration consider this an act of war?
We certainly, I'm not going to put new labels on it, James. I would say we certainly consider this act, this reported act, the act of the killing of James Foley as a horrific terrorist act that we certainly has helped, or has not helped to, I should say, has helped, or has not helped to, I should say, has been one of the motivating factors in the effort to undergo the creation of international coalition to address this threat.
So now
has helped, or has not helped to, I should say, has been one of the motivating factors in the effort to undergo the creation of international coalition to address this threat.
So now we have on the books 2 American journalists beheaded by this group. Is there any doubt on your part or the part of this administration that in fact the United States is at war with ISIS?
Well, I think I want to be very careful here, just that we have not confirmed through the proper processes, and I just need to restate that as a U.S., speaking on behalf of the U.S. government. I know that wasn't your intention. I'm not going to, again, put new labels on it. I think it's clear that we are concerned about the threat of ISIL to Western interests, to interests in the region. That's why the Secretary, the President, Secretary Hagel, are all going to be working every contact they have to continue to build a coalition to address this threat.
Will this try to address this one more way? A lot of Americans sit at home and they see Americans who are not even combatants but who are journalists being beheaded by this group overseas. And from a sort of common sense point of view, the average American will say to himself, this group is at war with us. Why does our president or our Secretary of State not recognize that and say, indeed, we are at war with this group and we will destroy them?
Well, I think, first of all, James, our actions speak for our commitment to this. And the president has authorized more than 100 strikes in Iraq, as has been confirmed by the Department of Defense. There are a range of reasons, but part of it is to take on the threat of ISIL. Part of the reason we are leading the effort, and the United States has done more than any country in the world, whether it's humanitarian assistance or other military efforts, to take on this threat in Iraq. So I think any American sitting at home should sit and look at the actions that we're taking. I don't think it's a useful exercise to go back and forth about new terms. What's important is what we're doing about it, and the president's authorization, what the secretary will be doing over the next couple of weeks is action in that regard.
And that was just one of the sound bites from the press briefing on September 2nd, 2014 on FlashNewsNetwork.com. You can read the entire transcript from that press briefing. And I did outline several areas of the press briefing where Jen Psaki's responses were just really off the mark. They were either non-answers, non-coherent. She really struggled with that press briefing. I don't think there was any sexist remarks whatsoever. Yes, we're critical of Marie Harf and Jen Psaki, but Marie Harf, when she answers a question, she answers it with full knowledge of the question asked and the issues at hand. Jen Psaki lately is really just off her game. I don't know what's going on, but I think it could actually be the Obama administration really is just forcing them to spin items that are just unspinnable. That's their job, is to provide answers